and welcome back to the Third Age. And I am here now. I've got to level up Varathor from that last fight we fought right at the end of the last session. I want to make sure I didn't pick up any new equipment. I didn't think so, but I always check, because sometimes it can slip by you really carefully. But yeah, last time we were talking about Mithril. Mithril is awesome. And yes, it did originate with Tolkien. If you're an RPG junkie, you'll probably see that, a lot of games will have Mithril or Mithril or, various respellings of it in order to, carefully edge around copyright. But Tolkien is the originator of Mithril, not whatever RPG, D&D, Final Fantasy you may find a Mithril knockoff in, except no substitutes. And it's, I've actually read this very interesting book called The Science of Middle-earth, where they talk about various things in Tolkien and how they could potentially have worked out in the real world. Things that, say for example, like how orcs might have lived and reproduced. How certain things that the elves have that seem wondrous might have been less sorcery and more carefully applied biotech, basically. Oh. Cutlass of Isengard. You wouldn't think that would be as good, but I'll bet you it is when we equip it. I'm sure it looks ugly, but fights awesome. Yeah, it's better. Yep, looks ugly, fights awesome. Okay. But one of the things they talk about is what could Mithril be in the real world? What metals might have been either the inspiration for or an equivalent to Mithril? The white and gray wizards. Alright, well, we'll check this out.
Do not fear as you wander Moria's mazes, for powerful beings such as I are here to aid you.
And other powerful beings are here to eat you whole.
For many long years I have played the role of a grey wanderer.
Hence my name,
Brandir.
Brandir.
Another, the white wizard Saruman, calls himself the leader of our order.
He is the leader of your order. He didn't make that title up.
Saruman chose to see afar, to see all, and in his greed he became enslaved. We have had, you see, a falling out.
Understatement.
And thus his servants have forced our party to skirt Saruman's domain. For he hopes that within Moria I shall fall to a greater power than even he possesses.
But, don't be afraid, because I'm around. Even though there are things worse than me around, and I've said that repeatedly. I need to let this go. But yeah, they talk about things that might be like Mithril. And of course they bring up, your basics like aluminum. It's shiny, and it's light, but it's not exactly hard as dragon scales. One of the thoughts is an intermetallic, which is it's not an alloy, it's a chemical compound of two metals, two or more. And the one that they suggest is an intermetallic called yttrium silver, which, as far as we know, does not exist in nature. No one has ever found it naturally occurring. They've only made it in a lab. but it's super strong, super ductile, super shiny, super awesome. It's just utterly impractically rare, which Mithril was. And there's the theory that, okay, well maybe some of the silver beneath Moria was just a naturally occurring vein of yttrium silver. Who's to say it wasn't? Because Moria is the only place in the world where Mithril was found. So it wouldn't have to be a worldwide phenomenon. It would have to be just something that you find only in one place. And we have metals like that in the real world. Things that are chemically unique to one location that have special properties. So there's no reason why it couldn't have been. I know, I'm a nerd. I'm not just a Tolkien nerd, I'm just a nerd. And one of the things that I really geek out about is armor. I think I mentioned before, I make armor. Primarily chainmail. I do a little leather working. And I actually am working on right now I'm actually working on right now a shirt that's basically like real world mithril. It's aluminum, and it's, let's see, who's lowest on health? Barathor is. It's aluminum, very, very tiny rings. The mithril shirt that you see in the movies is, I believe they said, 3/32 of an inch rings if you watch the special features. The rings I'm using are 1/8 of an inch, so it's 1/32 of an inch bigger than the mithril shirt used in the actual movie. So, yeah, these are very, very tiny rings. They're like smaller than the end of a pencil rings. And it's taken me for freaking ever, but I'm proud of it. Maybe sometime on one of my other videos when I'm talking about chainmail, you guys can see the work. I do not advise that you decide to make one for yourself, though, unless you have either a lot of time or a lot of patience, or B, you really, really need the hobby, because it's time consuming. I dabble in too many things, which is why I don't finish a lot. Oh, beating up on goblins. It's almost not fair. But they are little punks. And they can, if they get their turns falling right, they can mess you up. Hey, got some leveling up to do. But first, give me goodies. Fire protection. Who needs fire protection? Let's look at stats. Normal against fire, stout against fire, normal against fire, weak against fire. Well, you know what that means. There you go. Now for the leveling up. Okay, I don't want her other stats to fall too ridiculously far behind, otherwise she becomes a squishy wizard, basically. I don't want her to be too squishy. I want her to be able to take some punches. You may have noticed I am loading Hathod's spirit stat. He starts with it so low, but he has several spirit powers that are very important in-game, in which there will be certain fights that you really need Hathod's spirit powers to pull you through, and you don't want to run out of action points in the middle of that. The higher his spirit powers are, the higher his spirit stat is, the more action points he has to work with. So. These albino wargs, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it gives you something to fight other than, you know, sapient bipedal cockroaches, which is what goblins kind of are, but... That's the other thing. I don't understand really why they've redesigned the wargs for the Hobbit movie. I mean, you can argue about whether they look better than the original warg design, which was more hyena-like, and now these new ones look more wolf-like. But I don't understand why they would change things when they... Ooh, Morgul Decay. Morgul Decay is a good thing to have in your pocket, although you wouldn't think so. But Morgul Decay basically completely destroys your foe's armor, which is always fun to do. It's like, oh, you're armored. No, you're not. But yeah, I don't understand why they'd switch it when they had an established... Hello? Can I please? Oh. Hello? Camera? Will you help me? No? Okay. Yep. I knew there was going to be another fight. No avoiding it. Oh. Let's just end this quickly, shall we? Die. I didn't notice none of the things that built up. And you'll notice that as time goes on, you learn more perfect mode things, and others of them, I'm floating in a black void, require more... Camera, please help me out. Require more of that bar than just sending arrows does. So you'll notice we're stacking them up fairly quickly right now, but it's better, but it makes me look kind of like a dork. But that's not our primary concern with our protective gear, now is it? Mom, I don't want to wear that helmet. It makes me look doofy. Alright, here's our runes. And we've got a scene. Let's check it out. The Moria Horde. The goblins fear a greater power who stalks the halls. But, you know, don't worry or anything, because Gandalf's here, right?
I know it not, but these wretched orcs are trapped within these halls. They hide from the sun, but more do they fear their new master. They awaken him in times of great need.
Despite the fact that they're terrified of him.
Victim to his terrible wrath.
This is a very messed up, abusive relationship. I mean, would you do that? If there was something or someone that always got mad at you when you woke him up, you'd stop doing it! Oh, this one just came right out of nowhere. Okay. Ah, we've got time. They're usually short. Camping at the crossroads. Oh! Here's where we are.
Our campsite. That was very good.
Remember this from the movie, the stop at the three-way passage?
We've also found Boromir, for he has traveled with us since Rivendell.
Well, you haven't really found him, you found his trail.
Have you considered, Bellathor, precisely why you were compelled to seek him?
Because I was told to.
Many that live deserve death. Some that die deserve life.
And lines that have no reason to be spoken are sometimes done.
Even very wise can assume ends.
Okay. Thanks for being mysterious at us. And on that note, we're gonna go and come back next time, so see you later for more Third Age, folks. Maybe then Gandalf will start making sense.